If there's one thing which I will never understand, or not understand, but won't understand the appeal of or get the appeal of, it has to be Disney remakes in all honesty. Considering the fact that I've watched a good majority of them in my childhood and could probably tell you the story with a bit of, a few errors considering how long I've watched them, I just never really got the appeal of them. Especially considering the fact that they've probably released so many fucking editions of the movie already. Have you seen Lion King? There's not only some normal edition of the movie, but there's like a gold, a diamond, and even some multiple editions of that. And I'm pretty sure that'd be pretty stupid if you were to try and consider buying something else other than that, and along with a few other films. But it seems like since Disney is now really persistent on wanting to go down this road or this trail of making Disney remakes, I think I might as well talk about it. And Mulan has to probably be one of the worst offenders. Not only because it kind of misses the entire point of the original film, which was you can be as equal as everyone and pretty much do what anyone can do as long as you persist hard enough, to, oh yes, if you have superpowers, you can do it, and with nothing more and nothing less. But as I said, let's get into the video, and let's talk about why Mulan 2020 is a shitty movie. Now, if you're probably wondering about why this film sucks, it has to be the fact that it can't even commit to being what it was said to be, which was a grounded take of the story. Now, of course, I wouldn't mind this if the film wasn't supposed to be a grounded take, but let's talk about it. And so the director said that this film was not supposed to be cartoony. It was supposed to be realistic in a sense, to where it felt like it would actually happen in real life. And that would make sense, right? That'd be cool. But it seems like they did the complete opposite and somehow managed to not only fail at making this film seem grounded, but also fail at trying to make it seem like Mulan would actually be able to do all this stuff in real life. It's kind of ironic how a film in 2020 could fail at making a film that came out years ago seemed way more grounded, even though the other one had a talking dragon and a cricket with a personality. It's just really stupid and hypocritical, especially considering the fact that these people were legitimately trying to prove that constantly and say that this film wasn't supposed to be anything like the cartoon or was not supposed to be in a fantasy-like way in any way whatsoever. But let's continue on. Now, for a second point, which is the fact that Mulan literally has superpowers throughout a good majority of the film. The original movie was actually kind of realistic and grounded in a way, and I know I'm going to be saying that a lot, because the funny thing is that the main character wasn't part of loyalty, and the only training she had was amongst all the other guys in the camp. She didn't have any type of specialty in fighting, and one of the things which kind of made her relatable is the fact that she just kind of failed at doing both things, with not only failing at the expectations which people set for her, like her parents and her being the bride, but on top of that, the fact that when she went to the army, and even on her first day, she sucked and pretty much stood out the most. And the one thing that was cool was the fact that she actually kind of stood out amongst them when she actually learned like everyone else and eventually got to the point where people respected her as a fellow comrade. And that's one of the things that were likable about the first movie. Now, the problem with this movie is the fact that it literally decides to go introduce chi. Yes, I said it. Chi, there's magic and stuff, there's superpowers, as I said earlier. Now, this chi is never really explained, and it's just kind of brought up for the sake of it being there. And I have to say, it's probably one of the most dumb things which I've seen, it just really makes no sense. They literally introduced this idea in the movie for the sake of trying to introduce something new and to make Mulan stand out even more and pretty much give her an unfair advantage compared to everyone else. Of course, a character can't naturally progress through training and through hardships, but instead must be given some magical ability, and the only hardship she must go through is to just hide something which gives her an advantage. And just to mind you, apparently she cannot use or show this chi in this film, because if she does, that means she may become a witch, which really makes no sense. Like, how the heck could a guy have magic in this type of world or this type of setting, but it's good? But if a chick has it, it's bad. It's never really explained. And also, in the context of this thing, why the heck would she need to hide it when if it was seen in the beginning of the movie when she was a kid, everyone in this town will know? Why wouldn't her parents or everyone around her try to tell her to use this type of chi for good? Maybe that could be a cool inspiration. But no, once again, this film is just showing about how lazy it is and showing how we can't even provide a solid or cool idea for the sake of providing a solid and possibly cool idea. But once again, let's continue on. There's also another thing about a villain of this show, or not in the show, but in this movie, having chi and pretty much being the dark version of Mulan, which really makes no sense because she's supposed to be a antagonist, but she doesn't do anything to really convince you that she's actually an antagonist. She's just there for the sake of being there. And once again, this ties into the whole realism part where it kind of breaks the point of the film supposing to be realistic, because outside of this whole chi crap and people, I don't know, turning into birds like the witch, there's also the fact that people run up walls and the fact that the villains aren't even intimidating or do anything that's worthwhile for you to really feel like they could actually be some type of threat. In the original movie, the thing about the main villain was the fact that he was pretty menacing. He may not be all that memorable, but at the same time, it's pretty scary knowing that this guy climbed the wall and said, "Good. I want them to know that I literally infiltrated the walls and am now coming for the Emperor." And also the fact that he killed that guy when he did that thing. And also the fact that he killed the dude's dad. And then it kind of rose up out of the snow, which yes was unrealistic, but still kind of scary. And also did a sneak attack and kidnapped the Emperor. That's the thing which made the villains original. The problem with this film is that when it tries to have villains or tries to have some form of conflict, it just can't commit to anything and it just ends up being horrible at it. Like, I don't know where they were trying to go with this, but at the end of the day, they just honestly suck with this. I don't know how Disney, out of all people, fails to make a villain which is at least interesting when you could at least try and do something like this, or especially when you could improve upon the villain. But hey, at least they gave him some type of character motive. And also, about character motives, they just sound really stupid and childish in all honesty. Like, I could probably understand the main villain, which was like supposed to be the guy from the original movie, if he was pissed about his brother being dead. But once again, there's really no explanation to why his brother is dead. And there's no reason to care. And then there's also the witch character, which is just like, oh, I want to fit in, but at the same time works with people which treat her like garbage, and at the same time has no real reason to even work with these people, in all honesty. Like, if you could turn into multiple people and animals and have magic and stuff like that, then I'm pretty sure that you should be fine on your own without having the fear of trying to coexist with everyone. It just, in all honesty, makes no sense, especially considering the fact that there's nothing even like going after witches or anything. Like, what are they going to do against a witch, you know? Are they going to shoot a bunch of arrows? Never mind, it seems like you only need one to do the job. Well, I guess this is the part where I finally get into the ending of the video and start with my final points. But, at the end of the day, what are my thoughts on this movie? I honestly believe that Mulan 2020 is probably one of the biggest disappointments, in all honesty. I honestly defended this movie and unironically thought that this movie may be the one to finally be, I don't know, the good one out of all the Disney remakes. Because let's be real here, guys, like, if you probably watched any of the Disney remakes and thought they were good, you only thought they were good just because it came out or just because you watched it for the first time. If you watch this for a second time or even want to use your mind and watch this film or compare it to the original, it's not good because it can't even like virtually in any way compare itself to the original because it ruins everything that made the original great. Not only that, but it kind of disrespects a bunch of the culture that was going on, especially in the themes of this movie, and it's just dumb in all honesty, and not even in like a funny or in like a way where you could just accept it. This film is honestly just fucking horrible. And the fact that Disney really thinks that they could just persist with these movies is just sad, because let's be real, Artemis Fowl, Lion King, and all the Disney movies which have come out in the recent years, which are just live action remakes, were just shit, and I personally believe that they will continue to be shit in all honesty. This movie isn't even worth, I don't know, a fucking dime of your time, and the fact that Disney has the balls, or has, has the gall to go and have people pay $30 for this trash tier film is, in all honesty, sad. It ruins the original point of you could do what anyone else could do as long as you persist hard enough and stuff like that to, oh, you could only do stuff like other individuals if you have an advantage over them, or only if you have superpowers, which really just ruins the point and really doesn't even have a point whatsoever. It makes the entire movie fucking worthless, and in all honesty, I hope this is the point where Disney realizes the fact that they should stop with these fucking movies. Especially considering the fact that this movie is fucking bombing as of recently. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you all liked it. That's all, folks, and Wolf360 out, and I will see you in another video coming soon. Later, folks.